there's this feature on all the streaming platforms where you can listen to music offline.
Yeah, I had it today in traffic. I'm stuck in traffic. I went through a bad area. The thing dropped and it said, "Here's what you got saved offline." I was limited to just my offline stuff.
Yeah.
For that period of time.
So what I tell people is, and I've literally put this on my IG before, is because they have programs now where you can like pay a little bit less if you agree to like listen to music offline. The reason that they do that is because obviously then whatever you listen to offline does not get credit for the streams.
It was like, so you have the Achilles, we understand he has Achilles heels.
Yeah.
As he's like, but you never heard, it was like something about, you never heard of both of these nuts. I was like, oh, man. I knew that's where it was going to go.
He took you down a path,
he
and
took
that's
your
where he
whole
dropped you
story.
off.
Whole story.
Dropped you off at his nuts.
But
these
right.
nuts.
But as soon as he said, you ever heard of the story of both of these? I was like,
both of these.
Nope.
Nuts.
Nope. I know where you're going. I know. What's up, y'all?
That's
what's good?
What up, though?
What up, though? What's good?
What's good?
Hey,
we made it.
Ty got the legs out today.
Yeah. What is it? Like 80 something in the city, which is cooler than, was it yesterday or day before yesterday? We got up to like 92, which was crazy.
Yeah, I've been outside once today.
That's crazy.
That was to get lunch. We got this place. We got this place around the corner. It's called Fannie Mae's Fish Fry. Man, they do it up.
Fannie Mae's Fish Fry.
Because I don't really eat burgers and stuff, like real burgers and stuff. So, but I still do seafood, and they had the Fannie Mae's, boy, right around the corner. They had the little mac and cheese with the 4-piece. They gave you a 4-piece tilapia meal. Oh yeah,
I eat 4 pieces.
I was gonna say that sounds like a lot of. That's a lot of fish.
Generous.
That sound like you gluttonous.
I know over at the airport, I ain't gonna name the restaurant, soul food place. They give you 1 piece of fish. 1.
Nah.
1.
How much they charging for that?
The meal was, I think, 15, 16.
No, sir.
Give you 1 piece of fish.
Nah, you gotta go to
Is
one
it
of Fannie
big?
Mae's, bro.
It's a big piece?
Nah, it's thin.
Nah, they doing it.
It's one place back when I used to eat meat, because, I'm 9 years a vegetarian, but when I ate meat, I used to go to Wing Nuts. You ever heard of that?
Oh, yeah.
And they would give you 1 piece of fish, I feel like, but that piece of fish was pretty hefty.
Oh, yeah.
Like, it was a thick dude.
These people ain't giving you
Pause.
No hefty.
No hefty?
No hefty.
This was
1 thin slice.
Nah.
Yeah.
Like it was pizza. That's
so you
crazy.
get 4.
4.
That's how you do it.
Piece of
4 is
tilapia.
wild.
For the sake.
Don't say the same price.
I'm gonna say the same price.
That's crazy.
As what you get for the 1, bro. Maybe just a little more. Because look, they ain't a sponsor of the show, but I go there. I frequent there a lot. Because you get a military discount.
Okay.
So boom, military discount. It comes about $18 total. 4 pieces tilapia, and then you can get fries. And I always get the fries crispy with the seasoning on it. Boom. And I get my wife a small fry with seasoning on it too. All of that for $18.
That's wild.
That's crazy.
In today's economy.
I don't want to go to the place you just named though.
No.
I don't want to go
it's
there.
It's a popular place too.
That's crazy.
That's unfortunate.
Well, we went to a popular place here. I ain't gonna name the name because I'm sure if I name the name, I'm gonna get somebody gonna be upset, but I ain't gonna name the name. But we went to this place and we were like, oh, okay, it's cool, yeah. And then we came home, we figured out we could make whatever they sold so much better. And we did. Because my wife's, I'm not gonna say, because then if I say, then y'all gonna know where it is, but I ain't gonna say it. But anyway, I'm just saying. We came home and she was like,
I can make that.
I can make that better though.
Yeah.
And she did. And we actually have never been back since that.
That's wild.
That's crazy. But anyway, we're here again, ladies and gentlemen. Indie Unplugged time. Got a bunch of stuff to talk about. So let's get into it.
Let's do it, man. Let's do it.
Because a lot of stuff is and B, no, every time we do this, every week there's something. Every single
Ain't that crazy?
week,
Yeah.
there's something that
By the
happens.
time 7 days go by.
7 whole days.
That same song popped in my head. The
Nah,
exact same song popped in my head. Tony Braxton.
7 whole nights. Oh, anyway, Salt-N-Pepa. Right. Let's start off with Salt-N-Pepa's here is fighting for their ownership and legacy because UMG is holding. So let me give context, right? Let me get this pretty long context. So let me set it up right, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah.
Let me give y'all the context. So Salt-N-Pepa is suing Universal Music Group for allegedly refusing to return the rights to their music catalog, including hits like, Push It, Shoot, despite the duo. Interesting. Duo. I already got issues, but anyway.
Come on, Spinderella.
Yeah, how you gonna not include? Anyway,
They exiled her.
they were like, no Spinderella.
And
Even though
she wasn't even the original Spinderella anyway.
she wasn't.
She was a replacement. So
That's true.
That's a whole nother.
That's a
can of
whole
worms
nother.
Yeah.
Whole nother thing, right? That's a
How
whole.
you get them, how you lose them.
But yeah, I mean, you can't. Anyway, that's a different thing, right? Despite the duo invoking their termination rights under the Copyright Act, the two members argue that UMG is holding their work hostage, blocking access to fans and commercial opportunities. They claim the label ignored their legal notices, removed these labels. Well, UMG ignored their legal notice, removed their music from the streaming platforms, and is devaluing their catalog, which generated over $1 million. And they say in 1 month, and this ordeal. UMG counters that the recordings were work for hires and not eligible for termination, asserting that the duo wasn't party to the original copyright agreements. Salt-N-Pepa is seeking damages, a jury trial, and permanent rights to their catalog ahead of their rock and roll induction. Okay, wait a minute though. UMG responded to Salt-N-Pepa's copyright termination lawsuit by calling their claims invalid and time barred, arguing the duo didn't originally sign the contracts granting UMC copyright ownership, while Salt-N-Pepa seeks to reclaim rights under Section 203 of the Copyright Act. Here's why it's important for y'all to know copyright. The UMG contends that the works were work for hire and thus ineligible for termination. UMG claims it halted U.S. exploitation of their disputed recordings, which means they pretty much took them down everywhere, and attempted to settle via mediation, even offering direct payments despite the artists selling their royalty streams to third party. Meanwhile, Salt-N-Pepa's legal team requested redactions to remove social security numbers in initial filing, an effort the judge granted, thus possibly after the information had already been publicly visible. Right, so we're in a situation. Salt-N-Pepa's like, without Spinderella, once again, that's already an issue for me. It's like, so they want their stuff.
Yeah.
And UMG is like, I don't think so, buddy.
Yeah.
So the UMG is not letting them have it. They're not giving it to them. So
yeah, I think legalities aside, I don't think it's a good look for UMG.
And first let me say, we not lawyers, right? So right. I'm not gonna give y'all legal.
That's what I'm saying. Right. I don't know if they have any basis for their counter argument. All I know is this is not a good look in general. It's not a good look, especially when you're on the heels of Drake suing UMG. I think wasn't Angie Stone part of Universal, because I think she was complaining, and then they got the conspiracy theorists with her, passing away in an accident. Mm-hmm. It's not a good look right now for UMG. I think. Having said that, though, I don't know what legal claim they have. My biggest thing though was in terms of them taking the music down. I think that is real petty. But they may be signaling, hey, you know what? Y'all can have the music. We're going to just take it down, And that's petty, though, because you would think it would be a more amicable handoff, so there's no lapse in, streaming, and the money could keep rolling in. They just kind of, it's really petty and not a good look. Despite, them possibly having some kind of legal claim, not a good look in my opinion. And I think that it just goes to show you that how Jay-Z said he was getting the money and getting payback from the Cold Crush brothers. How the Cold Crush brothers were done, and he's sticking it to them. I think that these new artists, when you get in the game, you got to make sure you maximize your potential, because the pioneering artists kind of paved the way for you. They took the hits, like Salt-N-Pepa. They took these hits for the newer artists now. Not signing contracts or being accused of being work for hire. All that stuff was terrible, but we didn't have as much knowledge as we have now in terms of the business. So I think the new artists gotta be savvy enough and run it up, because they couldn't run it up back then, and they sacrificed so that you can run it up now.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
I'm just wondering how they're describing this as a work for hire. The premise of work for hire is that you have brought an individual in, given them the material, and then asked them to perform that material, and then they deliver on that. That's constituted as work for hire. For example, if I bring in a guy to play guitar,
right,
and I pay that guy $300 or whatever, that's it. That's all he receives. I might agree to give him credit on something, but the work is done.
Mm-hmm.
This is a group that was signed to the label for multiple projects
in multiple years.
For multiple years. I mean, you got to assume, right? We're not lawyers. You got to assume that there had to be some real
Herbie Lovebug. I would say Herbie Lovebug probably signed the deal. He did the deal, and he was the one. This is my higher hand.
Like it was a management deal. Like the manager signed the deal. Is that what you mean?
That's kind of, man. We're speculating.
Right. We are.
I'm assuming that's probably what it is. Somebody like Herbie, or maybe even a fourth party involved, that signed a deal and just brought them in to perform the duties. And because a lot of times things look a certain way, but on paper it's way different. Than what it looks.
The first thing that came to my mind was, were they writing their own raps?
I think Herbie wrote a lot of that.
I think Herbie wrote a lot of raps,
if I'm not mistaken.
Because
I think so.
That kind of would support definitely what you're saying. Because not like I say, it's all the time. Even independent artists, you're gonna collaborate with maybe the guitar player or whatever, and there's a big difference in knowing what a featured publishing entitled to collaboration is versus work for hire. Like that's a huge precedent that they're trying to set. Right, for a signed act. You put their face,
that's crazy,
on the albums.
They went on tour.
You shot videos. I'm sure that the label paid for those. So you're saying every one of those encounters you paid them,
and they didn't create. They just followed. They just worked
literally
under your direction. They weren't creating.
They were straight puppets.
They were just
for an entire career.
So that
would be hard to prove in a court of law, it seems like.
But it's just not a good look to me, though. Regardless of whether they can prove it or not, it's not a good look.
It's not a good look.
It's not a good look for your artist to be,
And for me, the question is, the perception of why do labels do this to artists that these artists are signed to? Why do labels take these types of positions with the artists that are signed to that label, right? Whether it's Drake, whether it's Salt-N-Pepa, whether it's whoever. Why do they it's like they are moving into it's all about control.
It's about the money. It's about the revenue. Right? It's a source of revenue, and that they want to keep that source of revenue, which is insane because the fact that they're even doing it means that it's been at least 27 years since the original release. Like, it's not a good look. Like, let it go. You don't think y'all made enough money?
But is it about,
still making money off of other things?
It is about the money, but I think it's more about money, but probably over money is control, because they took it down. Not only did they take it down, Salt-N-Pepa has insinuated that they're trying to devalue their music. So to me that signifies an element of, because they can say, look what we can do to the music that you've created. We have control to build it up. We have control to tear it down. We can devalue it. We can do whatever we want to do with it. Even though they are making money off of it, they still can do and position it in any way that they desire.
I think you're right. The taking it down thing is a problem. However, there's a lot of different scenarios that we could speculate on about why it was taken down. Because, for example, I think it was a bad idea to take it down because now I can, as the legal team for Salt-N-Pepa, I can now estimate how much was lost.
Yep.
Based on the fact that there was a takedown, and I can obviously make that number bigger than it really probably was. And then, like from a reputation standpoint, I can say by them taking it down, like that caused other, it hurt other streams of income that they could have made. So that's a mistake. I don't know who was responsible for that. But if you think about something like a claim that you put in on YouTube, they'll take down something while that claim is in dispute.
Yep.
So is it possible that, distributors chose to take it down and say that they were doing it for that reason? That I could see.
They might say that, but
they have the ability to leave it up.
I think it's more control because even they're missing out on money by taking it down.
Yeah.
So they're trying to prove a point.
I think they're trying to prove a point
because you're supposed to let the money run up no matter what, right? The money is there, right?
You would think.
So,
yeah.
So I think it's more so of a control. But it's not a good look, though.
It's not.
It's not a good look for them.
It's not a good look.
And I think this is an interesting time because, again, Salt-N-Pepa, they are up for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. They're getting a lot of publicity. They got the star on the Walk of Fame, I think, last year or the year before last, which Spinnerella showed up to, by the way, which is kind of interesting.
I'm going to tell y'all what. My bad, B. I ain't mean to cut you off. Like, you finished, dog? Go ahead.
No, I'm just saying.
I got an issue.
It's a interesting time because they're getting a lot of publicity in general. So now the court of public opinion can be swayed in their favor. So
worse.
UMG got to be careful. Now, maybe they're riding high because the whole Drake thing. And I think the Drake lawsuit is ridiculous on Drake's part because
I do too.
Because everything he's accusing UMG of, he benefits from. It just happened to not work out for him this time. Right. So now he's getting salty. So maybe they feel like because they have such public opinion in their favor for Drake that they can kind of just keep. But this is way different. This is not a good look.
But my understanding is that they settled. They actually did compensate Drake for the initial filing of his lawsuit. I know a portion of it was thrown out.
I know it's still,
but I thought they settled.
I think overall it's still ongoing.
Almost.
I think I saw some news today that it's still ongoing for whatever that next stage is of this.
Well,
this lawsuit.
He had more than one. He basically sued them 3 times.
Right. They have multiple ones.
I think one got thrown out, one got settled, and they're still litigating one, if I'm not mistaken.
But I think they feel like because they, are on some kind of higher ground, or maybe the court of public opinion is on their side with the Drake stuff, that they can just kind of like, maybe they feeling themselves a little bit too much. I don't know, but it's just not a good look though. And they gotta
But if you're UMG, who gonna check me?
They're the number one record label.
If I'm UMG, who gonna check me?
So that's why I said it's a control thing, right? Because UMG is like, who is gonna stop us from doing whatever it is that we want to do? Nobody.
I think the power is with the people, but nobody's, Salt-N-Pepa, unfortunately, especially in hip hop, we kind of eat our own. Once you get to a certain age, we forget about you. We don't respect you. Maybe if this was like Nicki Minaj or even I know you got a topic on here about Kesha, the singer. She's like way on the bottom in terms of relevance, but yet she's young, and this generation rally behind her for her situation.
Right.
But nobody's gonna rally around like Salt-N-Pepa. Unfortunately, we don't really, especially in the Black community and the hip hop community, we don't really care much. Maybe if it was Nicki Minaj or
Beyonce,
or look at Megan Thee Stallion, even Megan,
or like Meg,
even she got a lot of support rallied around her, but ain't nobody thinking about Salt-N-Pepa, and it's unfortunate because they're legends and they paved the way for a Megan Thee Stallion, Nicki Minaj, and all that. But
yeah, because that was the thing I read too. My bad, B. That was the thing I read too. Because in the description, I'm not trying to throw shade at Salt-N-Pepa. That's not my goal. There's some things that two things. One, the whole Spinderella thing. That really grinds my.
Yeah, it kind of grinds my gears too. But we don't really know the full story.
True.
You know,
I don't. True. That's between Spin.
But that's not a good. It's not a good look for them. Though.
That's not a good look for them to kick her out of the group
for sure.
When she's been a staple member of that group, almost literally since the beginning.
For sure.
Because the original Spinderella was there, but they kicked her out, and so when the album actually came out, this Spinderella was actually there, and she is the one who actually helped craft hits like "Push It" and "Shoot" and all these other.
How you get them, how you lose them, though.
Right? How you get them, how you lose them. Right?
She kick you out to a certain point.
She's been, and then instrumental in a lot of that, appearing in the videos and everything, and so they said that the stuff that she was doing was work for hire. That's how they saw Spinderella. They saw Spinderella as work for hire because they could put anybody into that role.
So is this karmic?
Is
it karma spinning the block on them? Maybe.
Is it?
I feel like go back to what you said before. This is Herbie calling the shots, and so it's the same reason why they would be considered work for hire. Is because, and we do know that the industry works this way. So definitely to independent artists that are signing deals, especially with managers and things like that, production deals, a lot of times you've got to make sure that those deals work in your favor, because your production entity that you're signed to, or that your manager that you're signed to, may take your work to a label as if you are signed to them. So then it is work for hire, because the deal is between, in this case, we just gonna assume Herbie and UMG. And then Salt-N-Pepa work for Herbie.
Right.
They are his employees.
That's right.
That's
like
exactly
New
what,
Edition.
That's exactly what
like
they
Pearlman. Right. That's right. Lou Pearlman.
Not Lou Pearlman, but what was old boy
Maurice
name?
Starr?
No. What was shoot. You're gonna make me look up what his name was.
I was thinking of the guy.
Records? Is it Fast Break Records, something like that?
I was thinking of the guy who did the same thing with the pop.
Gary. Was it Gary? Hold on. No, not Brooke. Brooke was fine.
Yeah, if it
ends up
Gary.
being
was that the dude that Michael Rappaport played? Was that him?
Who?
Say it again.
Was that the guy that Michael Rappaport played?
Yeah, it's the guy that Michael Rappaport played.
Was that Gary?
Yeah, Gary Evans. Yep. New Edition had a period with Gary Evans, represented by MCA Records, after their previous manager, Book Crane, was fired. Gary Evans' management led to a difficult time. Blah, blah, blah. But so he had Fast Break. Was it Fast Break?
It was something like that.
I think it was Fast Break Records.
Or Fast Break Production, something like that.
Yeah, something like that. And they were signed. They were signed to Fast Break, and Fast Break had to deal with
MCA.
With MCA. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it was like,
and so that means, you are an employee of the entity that has the deal. The deal is between the entity and the label, not between the artist.
But there are many.
So, that actually could be.
That could be a situation.
What happened?
There are many situations like that happened. I think that was almost the same situation with Drew Hill. I think Drew Hill was signed to, I forgot who their
production company
was, but the production company had to deal with the major record label, and that was almost the same type of I always look things.
Yeah, I know that there are songwriters out here that sign production deals, and then they get placements, and then publishing companies want to do business with them. The production companies do the deal, and then therefore any money that's made off of what they wrote, it goes to the production company, and then the production company is responsible for paying out to the writers, and it's writers that are not getting paid because the production companies are just holding the money.
Yeah.
Yikes.
So this sounds like a similar scenario where the deal wasn't with, and those writers can't just go to the publishing company and complain, say, hey, I didn't get paid. Hey, we didn't do a deal with you, sir.
Look.
Sir and or ma'am. We didn't do a deal with you, Salt-N-Pepa. We
Look.
did a deal with Herbie. Go talk to Herbie.
That's right.
Because if anybody, these rights revert back to him.
That's right.
Not to you.
Isn't that what Tank told Michael Bivins in the movie in the show? It was like, yo, he was like, yo, sit down. He was like, me and Gary got a deal together. Like, cause he was like, who's Fast Break? He was like, yo, that you signed to him. You're not signed to us. The deal is between me and him. Gary pay y'all. We pay Gary.
This sounds like that scenario.
This sounds like that type of scenario.
Based on what UMG is arguing, saying it was work for hire. It's like, we never had a deal with Salt-N-Pepa anyway. What are you talking about?
That's right. So that would be interesting if it came out that that's exactly the type of deal that they had.
We got to do our, how to got the shade room investigation.
Right, yeah. We need an investigative reporter.
Investigative reporter to follow this trial, follow this case.
That's right.
Give us updates every day.
Updates on the case. Because that's an interesting one. Because I'm like, work for hire. They can't pull that off.
Nah.
No way.
I wonder what Kid and Play got to say about it. I wonder how their deal was.
Right.
You know.
I think they signed directly, didn't they?
It wasn't Kwame with Herbie too, or no?
Oh,
I don't know.
He did have a squad.
He did have I think it was Kwame.
Yeah, I think it was Kid and Play and Kwame.
He did have a couple acts. Yeah.
Yeah.
I wonder what they and I wonder where's Herbie right now. Where he at?
That's what I was thinking. Where is he in all of this? If they tried to
right now.
If they tried to get the rights reverted to them, I wonder where's he.
That's where y'all talk bad about Vlad. Vlad will find him. Vlad
will find
Herbie.
him.
He'll find Herbie and get a full story.
That's right, full story. But that's wild that they label it as a work for hire.
It may be accurate.
Let me say this too about Salt-N-Pepa. I don't know about y'all, but like, I always cringe when, I don't know if it's a Geico, when they had a Geico commercial with the hip hop legends. Geico did the Salt-N-Pepa Push It.
Mm-hmm.
It's so cringe.
It's cringe.
It's embarrassing. It screams that we're broke and need money. That's what it screams.
That's what it. Yeah.
And we'll we'll disrespect our art. We'll disrespect the whole art form for $1.
Oh, I saw another commercial almost similar to that, and I was like, my wife sent it to me, and I was like, oh gosh, what is this? This is horrible. Why do we? Why do they do this?
To me, that's not as bad as the ones where we actually show our face, like that thing that Mary J. But we were just talking about how we love Mary J.
Or the chicken.
That no, that screams.
No, I think Salt-N-Pepa. Were they like in the elevator or something singing? Push
I
it?
don't know.
They were in the video.
They were in the video though.
It was cringe. They were in the video. Yeah.
Oh
man, I wish I could find the one that my wife sent, boy, because that mug was hilarious.
Or like tag team scoop. There it is, the ice cream. Oh my god! Like I get it. Y'all didn't get these opportunities back in the day.
She was like, no.
And look, I'm not judging because
hold on.
I'm not.
Yeah, it says Herbie managed Kwame and Dana Dane.
Oh, Dana. Oh.
And the fella Dana Dane. I was a big Dana Dane. I like Dana Dane because
I like Dana Dane.
Remember Dana Dane was like a I don't want to be disrespectful, but he was like a great value Slick Rick. You know what I'm saying?
He said great value. Yo, that is crazy.
Is wild.
But
he's a team move.
But I always wanted to be different, so I picked him as my favorite over Slick Rick because I wanted to be different. Mm-hmm. You know, so I was a Dana Dane fan.
I said a team version of Slick.
Yeah, he gotta be
value.
Herbie gotta be around here somewhere. Say he only 60 years old.
Herbie chilling.
Come on, Vlad. Get on it.
Come on, Vlad. Hey, somebody figure out what's going on.
We need a full 2-hour interview with Herbie Lovebug to get all the details.
Exactly.
Who was he messing with? You know, what's going on? You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
Because they got the connection with Martin Lawrence too. I think they all work together. Martin Lawrence, Herbie Lovebug, they all worked at like was it a phone company or a furniture store or something like that?
Mm.
Herbie Lovebug, Kid and Play and all them. That was the squad.
Man, I wish I could find that video, boy.
Yeah, it says he wrote Push It.
He wrote Push It?
That's what it says.
Dang.
It says he wrote and performed in Salt-N-Pepa music video for Push It.
So it was like we hired these rappers to come in and perform it, but
it says he also wrote Let's Talk About Sex.
Yo, so that's crazy. So it's y'all just stepped in and just fulfilled a role of the artist to sing these songs. I mean, that's kind of like what songwriting is, right? I mean, they're the artists, songwriters are writing the song. They are the performing artists. They go out and perform it. But now it makes it very interesting to hear that all of that was, according to UMG, word for hire.
That's insane.
That
means there's a lot of other people, maybe they didn't even attempt to claim what was theirs, but it's probably a lot of other people in similar situations where they are going to discover when it's time that they think that those rights revert back to them, that they're not even the eligible party to.
Right.
Yeah, because, as hip hop is getting older, a lot of those classes are going to come
coming up.
Yeah.
They're coming up.
And as we can see, these greedy, dirty labels are going to find little loopholes when they know good and well this is just y'all done made enough money.
Y'all done made enough off of it.
Even if y'all want to flip it, okay, you know what? Y'all take the lion's share, give us a little percentage, whatever, but give it up.
Once again, it's
Give
about
it up.
control.
Give it up.
It's he who has the power rules everything.
That's just nuts. I remember seeing Warren G talking about how he was looking forward to his first album hitting 30 years, or 25 years, Regulate the G-Funk era. Now he's looking forward to getting his masters and all that. But I think that I've always said this for years. You want to get in the game however you can, but gain leverage as soon as possible.
Mm-hmm.
If you don't think somebody like a Justin Bieber or somebody could just, you know what, I want my masters now. I'm gonna stop. I need my masters right now.
Yeah.
You get leverage. You can kind of force these things to happen.
Yeah.
Like in sports, in football especially. I know I got a contract, but you know what? I want a new contract. I'm holding out. I'm not coming to camp. Give me a new contract. Yeah, but you gotta. I know, but I don't like. It's not market value. I'm not playing.
I was listening to an interview with John Bellion, which actually I like John Bellion. He's a super dope songwriter and artist. But he was doing this interview, and he was talking about that. He said he went to the label. I don't know who the label was. Probably UMG, maybe. And he told him, he was like, he's not coming out with another album, period, until I think either they did something. I don't know what that something is, but I can't remember. But it was something that he wanted them to do, renegotiate his contract or something like that. He said he'll continue to write songs, but him as an artist, he's not coming out with another album until they meet that demand. And he's built up leverage for himself with writing songs for other artists and also being an artist and writing songs for himself and putting out great music.
That's the thing. When you get leverage, you can do a lot of stuff. So just because you enter a contract or enter something that might not be favorable, you can't be discouraged, and maybe that's your only shot, but always had a confidence and faith in yourself that you can flip it, get leverage. Like 50 Cent did that. For 50 Cent, he signed his initial deal after his first 2 albums. He was like, nah, and they were giving him a hard time. Eminem said, give him whatever you want. Okay, give him what he want. It's 50 Cent.
What did Big Red say to Jimmy? What's a fair number of options for you? Right? What's a fair number of options?
But when you come on like 50 Cent did with his first 2 albums, going quadruple, whatever it is, they're gonna listen.
Yeah, you can. Yeah. You definitely can leverage that. Okay, so hold on. Let's go back here real quick. And this kind of stuff is really important too, because I think people, independent and signed artists, probably even more so signed artists, because I think the excitement of those moments don't allow the everyday artists who've been trying so hard to then put themselves in a position to be educated about the contract that they sign and the business itself. So this seems like it would be cut and dry. I just looked up, and if this is correct, on Wikipedia, it says that Push It was written by Herbie and a guy named Ray Davies. So let me ask you a question. This kind of stuff that grinds my gears.
Because you're a songwriter.
If the rights revert, right? In this scenario, who would they revert back to?
To Herbie.
Isaac Hayes III is reclaiming rights to music that his dad wrote. His dad didn't even sing some of the songs, but he wrote them. Right. They belong to the writers. unfortunately,
Belong to the writers.
just because you're the artist, if you don't contribute in that creative process and you're not listed as a writer or producer, Herbie is listed as a producer along with someone else. He's listed as the writer with someone else. He's the only consistent factor in that scenario.
Right.
Their names are not on it at all. They don't have any right to it.
That sound like fire to me.
And that's
They have no right to it.
And that's what he said, right?
It's like they don't know that. They don't know. They don't. Did they not know? How did they even get a lawyer to take that? I guess because their success in totality is like everybody know they was the face of the brand.
I was gonna say, is that even fair though? Because, and this is a deeper question, but artists, don't the artists deserve something? Even when it comes to like the publishing, the artist they have to sing it. They have to pull it off. So is that worth something? It might not be worth the whole lion's share, but is it worth something? The fact that I performed this song and made it what it is.
I think that's why the system is set up so that certain people get certain royalties based off of things, right?
So, like Beyonce, Beyonce gonna get a cut no matter what,
right?
Right.
They're gonna make sure she.
But it's funny you say that because that I feel like that only started like maybe 15 years ago.
Production credit,
where
writers credit,
writers.
I'm getting
even
everything.
writers. I've been in sessions with known writers where the writer was like, "Yo, I want 25% of the production." And the producer's like, well, I want this writer on my record. Okay, I'll give it to you.
Yep.
Oh, this record's for Rihanna and you already wrote for Rihanna. So I know you can walk this in.
Yep.
If I got to give you 25% in order to make sure that this record go,
I'll give it to you.
But I don't think that before that, writers or producers or artists were thinking that way. I don't know who started it, but... Once that became a thing, like you said, somebody else write the song, and you go look at the credits, and it say Beyonce wrote it
and produced it,
and she
and produced it, and engineered it, and
that's work for hire.
All of that
because she be like, I paid the writer $200,000. She agreed to it. She signed off on it. It's my song now, so she don't see not another dime. She got her six figures, and she walked off. Now the song is a smash, and now she
writership.
Here she come talking about I need to get credit. No. You
not if it's a work.
It was work. I paid. You agreed to that.
Yeah.
Now did Salt-N-Pepa know they were agreeing to that?
Probably not.
In 1986.
That's my point.
Probably they
took
didn't.
these lumps. These newer artists, there's so much more education out there. So
yes,
run it up.
We are the education, and they need to come get it.
Come get it.
Yeah,
because man, these labels will pull a doozy. They will pull a friggin'
let's
doozy.
keep an eye on this though. Let's keep an eye on this.
This is gonna be interesting.
I'm gonna keep an eye on it and see what's popping with this whole
when
lawsuit.
you look at that, it's like what will make you even think you were entitled to any? What are you talking about?
Yeah.
Right.
But like you said, I'm the artist. This song is not this song if it wasn't for me being on it.
And the song isn't the song if the songwriters didn't write it, and the song isn't the song if the producers didn't produce it.
If the songwriter wrote it, the songwriter's not gonna be like, oh yeah, they can have it. No, they're not doing that. I know. As a matter of fact, Herbie probably did the demo for them to learn it. He was like, I'm the original person who jumped on the mic and spit them bars. Not just gonna let them have it.
Right. Yeah.
Right? It's almost like you need an NIL for music. You need a name, image, likeness. Mm-hmm. So if that comes with some points automatically. I get points if it's my name, image, and likeness, regardless of who signed the deal or who you did the deal with. Once you let me be the face of it, once you let my voice be the voice, then I get a cut.
Well, it's NIL, all right. You have the right to do corny progressive commercials or with your name, image, and likeness. Right?
Right. Man, I wish I could find that thing my wife said. That thing was hilarious. It was Seal.
Oh, where he actually is a seal.
That's what she sent me. That's what she said.
It's his face on a seal. Now that looked like a reach for a check. That did. I felt sad for Seal on that.
I thought Seal was doing well. I thought Seal was doing great.
Bro, when I
if
see
somebody
Simi-
told you we just gonna CGI your face
Face
onto
on
a
a
seal for
I know
$450,000.
He like the king in the UK. Like he like the man of like.
I guess,
he ain't
but
hurting for no money, is he?
his face was on a
Yeah,
seal.
if they say I'll give you 90 grand if you let us superimpose your face on a seal, I'd be like, where do I sign?
And he did.
For 90 grand?
Because it was there.
Baby,
Kiss from a rose. Bro, I was like,
on a seal.
on a seal. On
Ooh,
a seal.
that's
crazy.
On a
hard
real
times.
seal was on a seal.
You done fell on hard
Bruh.
times.
That's wow.
Heidi, lost Heidi Klum to some who
That's
knocking off
crazy.
Heidi Klum now. One of them models over there.
Yeah, I know it's like a couple
Man.
artists that they won't
That's
even
hilarious.
clear samples. So you know they're not letting you use their face or nothing like that for some crazy stuff
Right.
like that.
Well, my man can do a whole. Go ahead, put my face on the seal.
Yeah,
I'm
on
good
the
with that.
seal.
What's that check looking like? Bad. I got it. Let's go.
Do
Okay.
it.
But we'll keep our eye on the whole
Yeah.
UMG Salt-N-Pepa deal.
Yeah. Artists get credit.
Yeah, get credit.
Get your name in the credits.
That's right.
Because if you don't come around talking about that was my song.
That's right.
And you know you didn't write it or produce it. Make your claim. Negotiate the terms with the team. If it's the producer
right.
or the writer and you want to ensure that you have something that's lasting on that record other than your ability to go and perform it, then you need to make sure that you negotiate yourself into the creative terms up front.
Up front.
You ain't
Up front.
80 years old trying to push it.
80 years old
you
trying
gotta-
to push it.
Matter of
you gotta
fact,
make
look,
some
hold on.
money.
Before we go to the Kesha thing, the other thing that really I had an issue with the whole Salt-N-Pepa thing that we'll move on to is in the statement they stated that they were the first females to rap. I was like, nah, that's not true.
Maybe they mean like commercial,
Yeah, probably to the level of success.
Probably
that
to the
they
level
had,
of success that they had,
it's
probably.
not even close.
Yeah.
We talk about like rappers delight. It wasn't the first rap song, but it was
Right,
the
right,
first
right.
commercial, rap record.
Because Because MC Shyrock was one, MC Light was the other.
She's before Salt-N-Pepa?
Yes.
Okay, you probably right.
Before Salt. Oh, I looked it up. I looked it.
He said, I looked
it up. But anyway, I was like, y'all not really the first females to rap. Maybe from a global perspective, maybe from visibility, probably.
Yeah.
But anyway, that was the other thing. So I thought it was interesting because I think this is something that kind of puts independent artists in a position of empowerment, right? So Kesha is launching a new platform called Smash, right? It's a new creator first platform designed to empower music creators by connecting them without forcing them to give up their rights to their work. Interesting. So it's co-founded by two people, the CTO, Alan, and the Chief Operating Officer, Lagan. Smash aims to unite songwriters, producers, engineers, and more into a professional community where collaboration doesn't come at the cost of ownership. It's kind of like a LinkedIn type platform, from what I understand. Inspired by her own battle against a predatory deal that she signed at 18, Smash is about shifting power back to the creators. To celebrate the launch, she's inviting users to remix her single Boy Crazy with the winning version to be released via Kesha Records. And I just thought this was interesting because you have what you mentioned previously as someone who may not be that high on the visibility chain within the music industry, but doing something to connect independents, give them a platform of collaboration and allowing them, and I don't know how that's going to work, right? It talks about without forcing them to give up their work, the rights, kind of like the Salt-N-Pepa thing, the rights to their work. I don't know how that's going to work. I did sign up for it.
Oh yeah,
yeah.
So it is out because in my research, it seemed like they were just talking about it, like it was an idea, to be executed in the future. But you're saying it's already up and running.
Well, I went to the site and they got the little splash page up there.
Sign up and then
sign
we'll
up for
tell you about it
updates.
later.
And we'll tell you. Yeah. So I'm waiting to see what to tell you about it later is. But I think this was important just to kind of give some context of how indie artists or why indie artists should start taking back or being more empowered to create these types of platforms. Now, I don't know what this is going to look like in the space of the entire industry, and how that's going to work, and what deals are going to be in place, or what legalities kind of cover this whole thing. But I just thought it was interesting that you have somebody who's creating a platform to kind of empower independent artists, within this space. I don't know. Any
So
thoughts?
this sounds very similar to something that Tidal came out with last year. It's called collabs, where independent artists can actually message other independent artists that they have found on the platform if they sign up for this collabs feature. And then it gives them, the opportunity to work together. It's gonna work. It could work. It will work. It should work. Artists need to be in a collaborative mindset. It just seems like right now everybody's got an app. Everybody's got a website. Everybody is trying to find, and everyone feels empowered to be a new, different option that's more straightforward for the creator, which is great. But of course, there's gonna be some growing pains as we kind of figure out what's gonna work, what's the best way for it to work. So, I mean, I wish her the best, and I hope that it works for some people in an advantageous way. But I know that there are a lot of versions of this kind of thing that she's doing that are happening right now. There's, even when you start thinking about stuff like these direct to super fan apps and websites, almost like
Ryan Leslie.
What's the one that La Russell uses? Where you can
even,
yeah.
And there's another one. Even is one. There's another one that's very similar to Even. Basically, does the same thing where
SoundClick, something like that. Not SoundClick. What's the one? Bandcamp.
Bandcamp has been around for a long time, but yeah, it does that now as well. Or it's been doing it for a while. But those are some of the ways where you can get direct to consumer for independent artists. You also can collaborate with other artists, but it's just a lot of it right now. It's really
that might be the new normal.
High traffic.
It might be the new normal though, because I'm here for it, because I believe every artist should be thinking about going direct to consumer.
You ever be driving down the road? Here I go on my crazy thing. Get ready. You ever be driving down the road and then you see the traffic in the lane next to you moving faster,
and then you try to get over?
You get in that lane, and then everybody in that lane slam on their brakes, and then you watch the traffic that was in the lane that you were in keep going.
Yep.
I feel like sometimes I just decide to stay in my lane, and I just stay focused on where it is that I'm going, and knowing that I'm going to get there as long as I'm going forward. And I don't really focus on what the lanes to my left and right are doing, because if that's the case, I'm going to be switching lanes all trip long. And I feel like some of these apps, you almost kind of got to wait for the noise to die down some, so you can identify, maybe the lane that you're in comes to a complete stop, and at some point you clearly see everything else is moving and you got to switch lanes. But just don't be in a hurry because there'll be a ton of people who maybe love Kesha and hop off of whatever platform and onto that one. And then that platform may not even be here 3 years from now. Hope that it is.
But when you got...
But
there's a lot of traffic right now in that space.
Just imagine if you're a star and you got a lot of loyal fans. Let's say you got 1 million fans that pay $1 a month to subscribe to and stream all your music all they want. They can't get it nowhere else. Not Spotify and Apple Music. They got to come to your site, pay $1 a month, $2, whatever, $1.50 a month. 1 million of them things. That's $12 million a year. Now, and you can take that and put it on whatever level you want to, a smaller level, bigger level. But
like you said, the Ryan Leslie theory.
Yeah. I've been calling for it for years.
I'm here for it.
Like, shoot, let's say you got 1,000 fans that pay $2 a month for you. That's $2,000 a month just off your own streaming. You know what I'm saying?
And there are people. Trust me, there are people doing it. There are people out there doing it.
There's
it's
a
not
lot.
up here.
There's a ton of artists that are
in that book. That's down. I have a book. You all should have this book, right? You all should have
a book.
I have tons of books. But the book is the Ari Herstand book, which I think is right up there with Donald Passman's book, right? So Donald Passman's book, All You Need to Know About the Music Industry,
Volume 1, 2, 3,
10th edition, maybe. I think is what this is. 11th edition, maybe. But Ari Herstand wrote a book called it's talking about the new music.
Oh, Ari's the guy with the curly hair.
Yeah, Ari's the guy with the curly hair, right?
All right,
Yeah.
I'm familiar with him.
I think his book is right there on par because that book.
Wow, that's saying a lot.
Yeah, that book really is the independent musicians, creator, artist Bible for everything. And he talks about that same thing, that there are artists who have their own platform. Maybe it's a Patreon, maybe it's a different type of platform where they only sell direct to their artists and to their fan base, and they're making a complete living off of that. No streaming platforms, no record labels, just me and my fans. And that's how my fans get my music. Now, of course, they probably have to do other things, advertising. They got to probably spend Google ad dollars and stuff like that and advertise on YouTube or on social media, whatever the case, but it drives them to that platform where they can build up their base.
I've seen it where people have an album on Bandcamp or even, and they'll put out to all the DSPs an album full of snippets. Y'all seen this happen before? I've seen this.
I haven't seen that.
I've seen this. A few artists have done this. I think Cormega maybe might have been a rapper. I've seen a few artists do this though. They'll put an album out and you think it's the real. Cocaine did it as well. The West Coast rapper. He'll put it on streaming, but they're all snippets, 30 seconds. Whole album, 30 seconds. You want his album? Go to Bandcamp or whatever and buy it.
The whole thing.
And I've been seeing that a few times.
I haven't heard of that. That's
interesting.
That's a way.
That's a way, though, right?
That's a way. You gotta.
That's a way.
That's a way.
So
it's just the marketplace is so.
But we're gonna see, to your point, everybody's got their own kind of thing going, and like it's gonna, but it'll all even out. No pun intended. But what I'm saying is,
there you go.
But what I'm saying is, get ready for the world, commerce in general, to be looking a little bit different.
I think it is already. It's like it's hard to keep up with. There's a new feature like the one on Tidal or website like the one that Kesha's doing, or Even's been around for a little while, but
a new payment model like through United Masses, which we talked about yesterday. We talked about on the podcast the last time.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many things where people are trying to figure out where the consumer is gonna be, where the money can be made. Because the whole time I'm thinking to myself, why would I go and join another service when if I've got a fan base where that type of thing would work, why wouldn't I just pay $12 to have my own website? Why wouldn't I just send the traffic directly to me?
To me.
Why would I go?
That's right.
If I've got, now everybody, you got to crawl before you walk. So a lot of independent artists that have not found their fan base yet, they need programs, practices, apps that are like Kesha's.
They and you want to grow,
but once you get it, it's like who is it right now? Well, there's actually a ton of artists like that say that they're now independent. Like Meg Thee Stallion says her deal is done. She's still putting out music.
Right.
Even Tory Lanez is not on a deal.
You had to put them together.
Oh, I did do that, didn't I? Look at that. That's crazy. That wasn't even intentional. I just was trying to think of people who I know who are still releasing music actively, but have publicly,
I think Big Sean is insane.
Celebrated.
Tyrese.
Tyrese
is independent.
What was like Voltron Records?
Yeah, Voltron Records. That's
Voltron. His own label.
Yeah, his own label. And all his music is released through Voltron.
Yeah. But Voltron. I mean, when you get to that level, think about how much direct revenue you now have, and you don't owe a label who say they fronted you money for this.
But the only thing I have against that though is you got to be careful. You got to figure out a growth strategy if you're going to do that, because in general, for people to discover you, they need to be able to go play it wherever. You can't say, come join my website. They don't know who you are.
Right.
They're going to go to Spotify or Apple and look you up. They can't find you. You're limiting yourself.
That's why I say you can't do that. However,
Not
like,
off the jump.
but I was piggybacking off of piggybacking. That's crazy. I was going off of what you said. If I'm Tyrese and I put snippets, first 45 seconds of all my songs on Spotify, I bet he's got enough fans that will absolutely go straight to his website, and pay whatever to get the whole thing.
But I think you might have just gave the solution right there, though. If you are, they don't know who you are. They can listen. Remember we used to go to the record store and put the headphones on?
Yeah.
And
You be like, let me see what this one is.
Then it graduated to go to iTunes. And then iTunes got a 30-second snippet. So that's fine. That could be a way to appease the new fans.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, send them to Spotify. They get a little sample. If they like you, come and join my site.
Yeah.
So I'm not knocking it. I'm just saying when you do these strategies, be aware that you might be limiting yourself.
No question.
By just going there, and you still want to be able to discover new fans to discover you.
That's right.
So just kind of keep that in mind.
That's interesting. You say that too. Boom. So, there's this feature on all the streaming platforms where you can listen to music offline.
Yeah,
mm-hmm.
I had it today in traffic. I'm stuck in traffic. I went through a bad area. The thing dropped and it said, here's what you got saved offline. I was limited to just my offline stuff for that period of time.
So what I tell people is, and I've literally put this on my IG before, is because they have programs now where you can like pay a little bit less if you agree to like listen to music offline. The reason that they do that is because obviously then whatever you listen to offline does not get credit for the streams. So then they don't have to pay out to the artist. And so I tell people, do not listen to music offline.
That's dirty.
That's crazy.
If you listen to the music and it's coming straight from your phone, nobody's getting paid. Yep. No artist, no writer. Yep. The streams are, you could be like, oh, I listen to your music all the time. But that artist has not seen not one benefit from the fact that you're listening to it offline. They want you to listen. Spotify and the others, they want you to listen offline.
And that's dirty too, because I know with Apple, it was my understanding, my offline stuff is stuff that I already bought. I bought those.
That's how it used to be.
I bought it.
That's how it used to be. Yeah.
Yeah. Because now you can just...
You done pay full price. So you're like, I can listen to it offline.
Yeah.
Now you don't have to pay for the stuff full price. You can put it on your playlist and download your whole playlist.
Yep.
So now, even if you be like, man, I know people listening to my music, you can't even prove it. Them plays they're not even counting towards showing that you got momentum.
Which is why they take them
offline.
They offline.
Yeah.
Which means they don't count towards anything else. You got them on your phone.
I always wonder
for
how
your enjoyment.
Yeah. It's your enjoyment.
Your enjoyment.
But nobody gets paid.
You ain't getting paid for it.
They win because you're paying your monthly subscription in order to be able to use the offline feature. So they're making the money.
So that revenue that they're generating from your subscription, when they go to kind of go, okay, this is this, and they divvy that part out, they don't have to divvy nothing. There's nothing to divide.
That's right.
It's me. It goes to...
That's right. Yeah. So that's why I say... So I said that, right? And then as soon as I said that, somebody said, oh man, I'm glad you told me that. I'm taking my music down off of that platform right now.
No, don't do that.
Wait. Why would you do that?
Right.
Why would you do that? I didn't say do that. Right. I said don't listen to music offline. But the exposure to be able to be found, even if you eventually you want them to come to your website or you want them to listen to you on a platform that pays, fair to the artist, but they found you, they need to be able to find you anywhere.
That's right.
I was like, no, don't do that. That's a step too far.
Right. Don't take it down.
Yeah, don't take it down. And just make another way.
And for independence, kind of the things y'all talking about is once you have a growth strategy, which a lot of artists don't go through that process of creating that type of strategy, right? Like y'all need that type of stuff, right? Yeah, it's great to be an artist and create music and be in the studio and be like, oh, look at us. But you need that growth strategy. You need and not even just a growth strategy. You need different types of strategies for different types of things that are going to be taking place. But in this term, if you had if you had a growth strategy that you knew how you were going to grow from this platform, and then how once this platform built up, then you're going to move to this. But the beauty of it is that now once you've built it up, and you're going to go through that, if you're going to end up deplatforming them, right? Of going from this platform to this.
Yeah.
Now your own platform gives you the basis to do so much more. Yes, you can have them stream your music, but then you can do so much more. You can push out music videos. You can push out special content directly for your subscribers. There's a lot of things that you merch directly on your. There's a lot of things that you can now do once you build that into your strategy.
And part of that plan could be, to circle back to Kesha's thing, to collaborate with other artists that maybe have the same smaller or larger fan bases in the similar genre, and that's going to allow you to grow to where it makes sense for you to go off platform.
That's right.
That money good though, right?
That money good. The money, not saying the money ain't good, but you
just don't let it blind you and limit you, because you got 2,000 people that may pay $100 a month and you making a decent living, but it's a big world. This whole world need to hear what you have to offer, because you got it from, the creator gave you some talent, and everybody deserves to hear it. So don't limit yourself to this, whatever.
That's right. So let's talk about this. There always seems to be some type of legal issues that people going through. You heard this Rod Wave thing?
I hadn't heard about it until you sent the stuff over.
Bro, I was like, what is going on? So
crazy.
So y'all know Rod Wave, right? So let me kind of once again set it up for you, right? So rapper Rod Wave was arrested in Fulton County, Georgia on 14 charges, including aggravated assault, firearm possession, and felony tampering with evidence. How you going to go and mess with some stuff? The charges stem from it happened back in April, incident where Rod reportedly returned to his home after a burglary, leading to a heated confrontation in which 14 shots were fired, hitting several cars and part of the house. His attorney insists Rod was the victim, not the aggressor, and called the charges incomprehensible. Police reports confirm evidence of a break-in, including a ransacked safe and bullet-ridden vehicles, but do not accuse Rod of initiating the crime. He was released on $50,000 bond and denies all wrongdoing. So you mean to tell me that somebody broke into my house? I confront the person. You in my house. 14 shots were fired. Now, were 14 shots fired from Rod or in the exchange between me and this other person? But I'm gonna tell you now, you break into my house,
all bets are off.
You better hope you can leave alive out of this mug.
That's interesting, because I actually thought when I initially saw his name that it was gonna be about he's got his ex-girlfriend has pressed charges on him. He got a lot going on right now.
He got a lot going on. Yeah.
I just hope the best for him. I don't know. That boy got a lot going on.
No, it's crazy out here. They even in Detroit, Skilla Baby, rapper.
I saw that.
He got his van shot up, and he got grazed a couple times. Got shot in the hand, grazed a couple times, and that's just par for the course, though.
Mm-hmm.
I think some rappers from Chicago got killed a couple weeks ago.
Oh, we talk about this all the time, though, right?
Some Chicago rappers got killed. I think they're affiliated with Lil Durk. You know what I'm saying?
They sliding.
Yeah. Lil Durk's artist got robbed here in Atlanta a couple weeks ago as well. So, I mean, we've said this a million times, but you got to separate, it's cool that you come from that life, because, we want authenticity in our music, but you got to be able to leave that stuff behind.
We talked about being able to say, hey, okay, yeah, I did those things, but that's not what I do today. And you shouldn't do
and act accordingly, though. Live your life accordingly. I don't know. Again, I have no idea how Rod Wave got his house, but maybe, be low key or be professional. Stay away from those kind of people that might run their mouth or like set you up. Like, you know, but again, though, I was riding over here thinking about this, that I can't be a hypocrite because I'm in my 40s, right? Like
all these other rappers?
I'm just saying, like, you know, we can talk with wisdom at our ages now,
right.
with wisdom and clarity. But when I was young, I probably would have been on that same BS. You know what I'm saying? I probably would have been on the same. If I was young and rich and famous and popular, I probably would have been wilding out too.
I'll be crazy.
I was wilding out without all the money and success. So can you imagine? So I'm not going to go and judge these folks, but I wish a lot of them will mature and just walk away from certain things.
But it says he returned to his home after a burglary. Which means somebody broke and the person was still in the house.
Does it say that?
It says after, though.
He said after the burglary, so it already had transpired.
Did he go after?
So was he in the house talking about everybody up in here? Probably had something to do with it or that kind of thing.
So here's the thing. Okay, look. So here's the thing, right? So who did he get into the confrontation with?
Maybe it was
that's what I'm saying. His people. Like how y'all let this happen?
Who did he get? I'm actually going to the article.
Yeah, I'm glad you said that though, because I was definitely thinking to myself. I always got the unpopular opinion, but it come with it.
It come with it.
And when we was that age, it still would have came with it. When you do hip hop music, and that's the environment that you're from, and that's the music that you make, it's kind of like you try to bring some of your people with you. They not, you know, it is what it is. We all from the same. So it's you have to completely remove yourself physically from that in order for you to be able to stay clean of these kind of scenarios. Because as long as you take anybody with you, and as long as that's what you're talking about in your music, we already know sometimes you attract the energy that you give off.
Yeah.
And if you giving off rapper energy, you could mean no harm to nobody, but you show up to your event and you got chains and rings and you just wearing basically the rapper uniform.
Right.
Now you got to worry about who trying to snatch your chain, who trying to steal your jewelry. They might stop you at the red light and want to shoot you up. So to get what you got because they think you have, it just kind of comes with it.
And you better live that rich white guy millionaire life. Like you got millions of dollars, but you don't look like it because you wear khakis.
Well, I was gonna say basically, what's his name? I'm drawing a blank. He's one of your favorite rappers.
Oh, J. Cole?
J. Cole.
He's a J. Cole diehard fan.
J. Cole. You don't see J. Cole out here.
Look, I was going to mention J. Cole being on even too, but I'm not.
Looking crazy.
Looking crazy.
You don't see him. Maybe, I'm sure everybody did it at some point, right? But you don't see him doing that. Even
he ain't the only one, though.
Even Damani, like, I mean, we know Damani got bread. I mean, we know it's bread in the family. But you don't see him out here wearing nothing crazy and I shouldn't say crazy. Wearing what the rapper uniform. He don't have on 5 gold chains and one of them that's so big that when he run from one side of the stage to the other, it hit him in the mouth and bust his lip.
He bleeding on stage.
Yeah, I mean, rappers be tearing their faces up with these chains. But
so look. Okay, so it says yes, he was arrested. In connection to an incident back in April where he returned to his home following a burglary. An argument ensued. Doesn't say who he argued with.
Probably his
That's
people,
what I'm saying.
Right?
His people. Like, how y'all let this happen?
And a pistol was fired 14 times. 14 times. Who he blasting off on?
Yeah. And he telling them, let me find out. I'm giving to you play by play. Let me find out one of y'all set me up. That one of y'all know how all y'all was up in here. Okay. Oh, y'all think this a game.
So here we go.
Let me rack it up.
So
hey, Nathan, was it you?
Why?
Was it you?
Oh, you think I won't?
It's like Bucho. You see somebody you don't know, you shoot them. Look, there's a guy. I don't know him. Pow. From the movie Desperado.
Yeah.
That was my joint though. Anyway. Here's the second part. Rod's girlfriend told officers that she found the house, that the house appeared to have been burglarized. They used the word appeared to have been burglarized when she returned home, which means
which would explain why then it was some
abuse, which means Rod
scenario
wasn't there.
that literally like 2 weeks later, where Rod was like, "Yo, was it you?
Was it you?
You set me up?
Was it you?
Was you playing me all along?"
Right. The initial report doesn't
because I want to say this is not the first time that they had domestic. So she probably was like, "You know what?
Domestic violence.
I'm gonna stay with him, but I'm gonna send my people."
Rod's girlfriend told officers that she found that the house appeared to have been burglarized.
Yeah.
When she returned home. So she returned home.
She's seen it first.
By herself. She's seen it first.
Yeah.
The initial report doesn't list any suspects that may have broken in, nor does it accuse the rapper of committing any crimes.
Maybe she was blaming other folks, trying to turn them against his people. And
maybe.
Like, who did? No.
Yeah.
Maybe.
I mean, I'm getting real.
We tweaking, but I think we own something.
I ain't gonna hold you. Look,
long hair don't care. I think we own something.
Look. I read. Okay, so there's something I'm about to do. There's a course that I've always wanted to take, and I'm about to take this course. The course is called. It's gonna sound weird. It's called Forensic Statement Analysis.
Mm-hmm.
Right. I've always wanted to take this course. And it is a course that they give to federal agents and police officers.
That's right.
So that they are able to determine if somebody's lying in verbal or written statements. And so you can start to pick out clues of what people say based upon what they say and what they have written, which is why I'm looking at words like appeared to have been burglarized when she returned home, which indicates to me that she was the person who arrived on scene first. You know them situations where like your girl try to rob, I forget, was it in the movie? But anyway, they try to rob like the house and something had happened and she wanted to make it seem like it was burglarized, but her and her girls or the two guys, they took all the money and she kind of wanted to make it seem like the house was burglarized, but they had it all. This kind of reminds me of something like that.
Absolutely.
I'm speculating, of course.
You're speculating.
I'm mad speculating.
We could just do what everybody else say, allegedly.
But I find that to be...
Yeah, if she was allegedly the first person there, if she allegedly called the police, then there probably was an alleged argument between her and him at some point, which is why there was an alleged domestic dispute.
One no alleged bullets.
And then he allegedly came to the crib like Yosemite Sam on Yosemite Sam vibes, trying to scare tactic the team into giving up what was really cracking.
You gotta be smarter than that, though. You gotta move.
Yeah, if you him,
you gotta move smarter than that.
You gotta be like, you know what? Shut it down. I'm calling a
Shut
moving truck.
Yeah.
All y'all get up out of here.
I don't trust you.
And I'm getting up out of here. Only person need to know where I'm gonna be is whoever is my manager, and they probably really don't know.
They probably don't even.
All they need is a phone number they can contact me at.
Right. I'm just saying. I'm gonna put a lot of speculation in there.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
You know, because
I allegedly think it's an inside job, and clearly so did Rod.
Clearly, Rod.
I think most of this stuff be inside jobs. All these robberies.
Yeah.
You know?
I do too.
You know,
you seen like like a Twitch video or something where the dude sees the girl send his pin, dropping
pins on that location
in the middle of the stream, and he like, you got to go.
You got to go. I don't know who you about to tell to come over here.
I about to say I would have been like, we all leaving because hey, I'm gonna lock everything up, and I ain't trying to be here when they get here.
Look, I'm just gonna be honest. We live in a culture. Not all women do it, but we live in a culture where it has been allegedly indicated.
There you go.
That women will set you up.
Allegedly.
They will.
Allegedly. Dusted and Disgusted, E40, Tupac Spice One. Remember that song?
Yeah.
They're talking about women setting them up.
Yep.
That was like
setting them up.
95.
Setting them up. So, they
yeah.
will set you up. So I'm
I'm
gonna speculate. Allegedly, I wouldn't be surprised if this kind of was a setup.
Hey, is there any movies where that happens yet? Like,
I think I thought it was
large scale? Have we seen one?
I thought it was a movie that I saw
about
where
to-
Of course, it's got to be one.
I'm about to. That need to. We need to see that.
where she set up the whole
We need to.
burglary, robbery, whatever.
That's like
And she had the money. Her and her
Yeah,
girls.
if anybody
whatever,
got
had
a
the money.
script like that, hit me up.
it's like that song. Remember
Right.
that song, Lil Wayne and Kendrick Lamar, Mona Lisa,
Yep.
Mhm.
and how that was an excellent song. How they both had stories of getting set up.
Yes,
It will
That
set
was-
you up.
they
Sorry.
they pinned that down.
Or even
Yeah.
like T Grizzly, he got his robbery series.
Yeah.
Amazing.
Yeah,
I
that's crazy
I listened
too.
to I think it's number 8 today, and it was like a great story on the edge of my seat. So
Yes.
hip hop. I know in song we have it.
Yeah.
But
I would be surprised if Grizzy wasn't trying to put that into
he need to.
a film form.
He
He
need
should,
to,
even if it
yeah.
was a short, that thing would go crazy.
He need
Well,
to.
I feel like he shot. Then he
Yeah.
shoot videos for every.
The videos are like that.
Yeah.
But
yeah.
they can go deeper though.
Oh
You know,
yeah, he
rest,
could do a whole storyline.
rest in peace, Irv Gotti. But Irv Gotti had the Tales show. That would have been perfect for Tales, where they did like a whole hour,
Yeah.
2 hour episode on the song.
That's
Perfect.
so going happening today
Look,
kind of vibe.
they
If
set
somebody
you up.
wrote that on a grand scale, that thing would go crazy in theaters.
I'm
Somebody get Ryan Coogler on the phone.
Right. He had his production company. What is it
Right.
called? His production company? He got a whole company.
He does have
Yeah,
a
I
whole
forgot what it's
remember.
called.
I don't know the
Yeah.
name.
I
But
don't remember.
We'll call him up. We get on the show right now.
Get Ryan on the show.
Get Ryan on the pod.
Yeah.
set me up.
Trying to set me. Look, independent artists, just be careful because it is not just females. It's people in general. It could be your homies that set you up.
Yeah.
It don't have to be females. I mean, even though they're the most allegedly.
Get
You
you,
trust
one
them
solid,
first.
one solid person that was
We
there,
talked about that.
that was there for you before the fame. Stick with them
That's right.
and just lay low, man. Get your
Lay low.
money.
Get your money, lay low. Don't wear the big jewelries. Don't be on stage running around busting yourself in the lip. Anyway, Young Thug. Yeah, I didn't really want to talk about the whole Diddy trial, man, because there's so much going on. I heard so much happening in this whole Diddy thing. But it was interesting, the people that they're bringing in to testify. And one of the people they brought in to testify was Kid Cudi, right? And so Kid Cudi came in and stated what he said about he blew up his car.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
He was messing with Cassie.
He said he broke into his house.
Oh, talking about the setup. Allegedly, Diddy called Cassie, asked for the address, and she gave him the address.
She gave him the address. Once again, setting you up, right?
That's
Gave him the
crazy.
address.
Super crazy.
Gave him the address. He
But
blew the blues.
maybe she was in distress though. Maybe he had some kind of hold on her. I'm guessing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. She
I-
felt like he did for sure.
Blew-
Allegedly.
He said that Diddy broke into his house and
Yeah.
opened up his Christmas presents.
What?
Who does that? Like,
That's
what?
crazy. I didn't see that.
Yeah, that'd be the cocaine. That was a
I
cocaine.
yo,
didn't
that is
see that.
crazy. Said he broke into the house.
That'd be the coke talking.
That's
Open-
fire.
And opened all the Christmas presents. Like, who does that? What is that?
That's petty as hell.
That's-
Like surprise.
Forget it. Surprise. I broke
Yeah.
into your house and opened all your Christmas. How did he know?
Yeah.
How did he know Diddy did it? Did he do
If
it?
He had cameras.
How did he know? Maybe he had cameras. He
Yeah.
saw
No.
Diddy. He's-
Remember, he said someone disabled the security cameras.
That's right.
They said that they were disabled.
He got
Before it
Diddy.
happened.
He got Diddy in the house doing something. Open up the presents.
Take that.
Take that.
I'm gonna take this one.
Knowing the cameras off.
knowing the
right.
camera.
Because he had his goons, his squad come set up the camera.
And they're talking about you can hate me
You can
now,
hate Well,
but I won't stop now.
open these. Well, anyway, right? So he testified. Then Young Thug came out. So let me give you the context once again. Young Thug has stirred backlash after calling Kid Cudi a rat on social media following Cudi's testimony in Diddy's sex trafficking and racketing trial. The now deleted post, because once people put up stuff, they want to delete it, but the internet is forever.
What's wrong with Young Thug?
Right?
What's
The
wrong
now
with him?
deleted post came after Cudi testified that his Porsche was firebombed in 2012, allegedly again, as a warning from Diddy over his relationship with Cassie. Cudi also recounted a 2011 break-in at his home by Diddy, where Diddy opened up these presents. I got you, right? Prosecutors say his testimony supports a pattern of intimidation by Diddy. Thug's remark highlights the ongoing tension in hip hop over the no snitching code, especially notable as he recently faced his own RICO case and has openly criticized artists like Gunna for cooperating with authorities.
You need to lay low.
Look, I'm gonna tell you what. I'm gonna tell you who said it.
Chill out.
You already got a prosecutor trying to lock you back up anyway because of your tweets.
Right.
And you still keep tweeting. What's wrong with you?
They never.
I'm almost ready to say you got to go to jail for being stupid.
They never learn.
Just for being a dummy.
Hey, you being a rat, bro. You being a snitch.
Usually there's some kind of court order that they'll put on them to say they can't.
Yeah,
They can't tweet about anything, any criminal activity.
Right.
They can't, you know.
Like, are you just begging to go back to jail?
Here's my thing. The no snitching code in hip hop. Who said it? Somebody said, I can't remember. It's a famous actor, I believe. I can't remember. You can tell me who it was. That said, if you do illegal things around me and they come to me and ask me, I'm telling who did it. Like, don't do something illegal around me. And I'm around and they come, you're not pulling me into that. I forgot. I don't know if it was D.L. Hughley or somebody said it.
I remember that. I forgot who said it.
Somebody said, don't do things around me. But we do have this code where in the street, if something happened, don't snitch.
Yeah, but the connotation is if something happened while you and this other person were doing something you weren't supposed to do. Kid Cudi's a victim.
Because his car got...
Yeah, I mean, what do you expect the guy to do? Is he got a car bombed and he pretty much know who did it.
You know who did? He broke into his house and opened up the Christmas present.
And then it's called a subpoena. So then once you get a subpoena...
I never heard Cudi talk about shooting nobody, being gangster.
Me either.
And then it's called perjury.
Right.
And then you
gonna go to jail too?
So you comfortable with not accepting the subpoena, which will get you a bench warrant for your arrest. You comfortable with perjury, which is an offense that could constitute jail time.
That's right, could.
And in this case, like you said, he was the victim, so you really letting a person that's guilty of something off the hook. And you were the person who got
victimized in this whole thing.
I guess it depends on where you from, right? And where you live. But I can tell you when I was coming up and where I lived, the no snitching was you don't volunteer information. It wasn't if the authorities ask you, you then pretend like you don't know who the person is.
I don't know who did that.
But to me, to us, snitching was going to the police station or the police coming and asking questions and you like, hey, I know about it. That was snitching. It wasn't if you're in a situation where, you know, now you become liable for the words you choose to say or not say, that's snitching. But of course now, I mean, you say you participate at all and it's snitching. Which is crazy now that Tory Lanez is insinuating that he didn't say that he knew that he didn't do it, but he was not snitching on anybody else. And he thought that evidence would support him being a free man, and now he's serving 10 years.
Yeah, allegedly.
Allegedly.
No, I'm saying allegedly there's some congresswoman from New York. I'm sorry, from California.
Yeah, who said she got some evidence.
Yeah, it says
now it's been 3 days.
They got video that shows he didn't shoot.
Where was this video at? Come on, y'all.
Exactly.
This justice system got to do better than this, bro. Come on now.
Yeah. But I'm like you. I don't know if I believe it. I don't know if I believe that video exists because if it did, why hadn't it came out?
How come we ain't got it yet?
And why wasn't it allowed to be used?
Because you know when they talk about evidence, they have the right to kind of either include it or throw it out.
Some evidence you actually have to present before trial to even find out whether or not it's admissible to the case, which is always a weird thing to see.
If we want to present this evidence, you could, and as a prosecutor attorney, you could be like, yeah, or you could be like, no, and I could be like, yeah, and then no, and the judge would be like, well, because we're going to rule it out. Like, well, hold up. Yeah. If it's evidence, it should be evidence.
Yeah.
Not.
And then people are like, well, why didn't, if Tory guilty because he didn't testify? Well, my only question that I ask about that is if you know, if you say, or I think it was what's the guy from Hollywood Unlocked?
Jason Lee.
Jason Lee said that Tory sent him a text message saying, you know, two of the shots, they were both holding the gun. That he was trying to take it from old girl, and it went off twice while he was trying to take it from her. The problem with him getting on the stand and saying that is, I mean, he still was already
snitching.
He had gun charges where he wasn't supposed to be handling any firearms at all. In order for him to tell that version of the story, he would have been in violation. He's still, touching a firearm, so he still would have ended up. I mean, I don't know if it would have been 10 years, but
I mean, not to go back to Rod Wade, but that's the same thing because he had gun charges prior.
Yeah.
And so now that he was blasting off shots in the house, it's like, yo, hold up. So, you know, that's why that was part of the reason why they arrested him too, was for that.
Things would be piling up on these guys.
But the whole issue is, and I don't know, is it an issue? The whole no snitching code. Like, there's songs out there that talk about, yeah, bro, you held it down. You went to jail. I'm free.
There's cats that really went to jail.
I'm free. You went to jail. I took care of your kids while you was in jail to make sure they were well taken care of, so that when you got out, you know, you could. And I put some bread away for you. Because you took the rap.
What about the ones that come out and don't have that pension package set up for them?
The snitch.
That prison pension package. Pause.
The PPP.
The PPP
That's
loan.
the real PPP loan right there.
That prison pension package. You be mad you done spent 10 years in jail. You come out and they done spent your package up. Like, where my package at? Oh,
you ain't got it.
Yeah, no.
You ain't got it.
Yeah.
That's the pension plan they need to have for, because I'm sure there's a lot of things that happen in the streets that there's artists or people who have gone to prison for certain things that have happened allegedly in these situations.
Yes. Need
right?
as much allegedlys.
So that's today's word, ladies and gentlemen. You know, there's a word in every word. And the last one, it was salaciousness. This one is allegedly. Right? Can you find a hidden word?
Right, there you go.
In the podcast this week. How many times have we said it? But I don't know. It's just crazy to me why you would come out for somebody who's a victim on social media and call them a rat when they are telling what happened to them from that. This ain't the same type of victim like Carrie Hilson was, what we talked about last time, victim in that sense, right? This dude was I mean, she could have been a victim in that, but I mean, he blew his car up and broke into his home and opened up his. I'm still trying to wrap my head around breaking somebody's house.
Yeah,
and opening up somebody's Christmas presents.
Yeah,
like,
you different.
You got you opening my Tyco that I got for my kid? Like, what's that's crazy.
It's the cocaine. Man.
It's the drug that make you do something crazy.
Cocaine is a powerful drug.
Make you do something crazy.
Rick James said.
Didn't they say he was on ketamine or something like that? Something crazy.
Something crazy. Yeah, I mean, I would just say for independence, man, I think that's always the message, right? Stay clear of situations that could probably put you in situations.
I mess with all these women. Get you a
solid one. Get you a solid team. Get you a solid
don't mess
woman.
With nobody else woman.
Well, I mean, you don't know though.
Sometimes they don't.
You
tell
don't
you
know.
the
They don't
truth.
disclose. Yeah,
you don't know.
Them the main ones that be setting you
don't
up.
know.
A dude be done center. Like, yo, go holler at him. Get him. Go ahead. Whoop,
you got that right.
Yompity yomping.
Whoopty whoop.
Then send me the bomb, and then we gonna come through and rumble bum.
That's right.
Hey, that's
a
right.
Movie
You
too. Never know.
We done seen that movie.
But like I said, something goes on every week. So, and I know what I'm about to say now wasn't even on the list. But I just happened to see this clip today. I was doing something a little earlier, and while I was scrolling through Instagram, I saw this clip, right? While I was participating in some type of,
algorithmic fecal stimulation.
Fecal activities, right? But anyway, I sound like the dude from from In Living Color.
Uh-huh.
But I thought this clip was crazy. I'm not gonna play the clip, but it's like a 2 minute and 50-something second clip. I just want to get your opinion on that as we get ready to close out this amazing episode of the Indie Unplugged once again. So it was this guy talking, and I think it's an old clip, but it just brought up something that I think was relevant even today of things that's going on, especially with the whole Diddy trial and probably other things that are going to happen from these different things. But anyway, it said that this particular individual was arguing about the fact that Black artists who reach high levels of fame or speak out against the industry often face targeted takedowns, either through legal accusations, mysterious deaths, or public character assassination. This individual cited examples like Michael Jackson, Prince, R. Kelly, Diddy, of course, and many others, claiming that Bill Cosby, and claiming that these artists are selectively prosecuted or discredited when they become too, quote unquote, too powerful or defy industry expectations. This individual contrasts this with the perceived lack of accountability for white artists.
Oh my gosh, I can't stand that, bro. We got to stop pointing the finger about what about them? Shut up with that if you're doing that.
And suggest that the music industry systematically protects some while destroying others, especially outspoken Black entertainers. All right, B, what you got to say, man?
Even let's just assume that's true what they're saying, that the white artists don't get treated the same.
Mm-hmm.
Let's just assume that's true, okay?
It is true.
Okay.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. Thank you.
I'm gonna roll with you on that, okay? Yeah. Let's say it's true. We got to worry about our own house, bro.
That's a fact.
We got to worry about us.
Fact,
Stop talking about. But what about? But he ain't getting in trouble. Harvey Weinstein. So and so. We ain't worried about Harvey Weinstein. We worried about us. Because I've said it before.
And this was the white guy who said it too.
I've said it before. Oh, that's even worse. I can't stand somebody to go get his own people. I can't stand that.
It didn't work for him, so now you're gonna talk about it.
This was the white guy who said it too.
Don't never trust nobody to talk about their own people, even if it's true. Don't trust them anyway. But no, like we gotta worry about our own house, and we have the ability as Black people to take over this world, man. Really, if we just put our minds together and worry about us. Stop pointing the finger. What about so and so?
Yeah.
Listen, whether it's orchestrated or not, we all seen Diddy on that video beating that girl. Okay, we seen R. Kelly. We seen R. Kelly peeing on.
That's a fact.
On a girl. We seen that, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So on and so
I don't know
forth.
if I saw. Yeah, I saw it.
Stop making excuses, man. Stop making excuses.
I say the same thing about y'all see it. Well, you see what it is on the hat. The Cleveland Browns is my favorite team. The fact is, man. Deshaun Watson is freaky deaky. That's the facts.
Money allowed to get you. Well, he probably freaky before.
Kind of creepy too, though.
Now, don't get me wrong. As long as he was throwing the ball and making great plays,
he's making great plays.
He was throwing the balls. Pause.
Both of
as
these.
long as he was playing the game, it was not a problem.
Of course.
And then when he decided, hey, I don't want to play for this team. I don't want to play in this state. Once he said that, and it was like the next year came around and he was like, I'm not playing. All of a sudden, a bus pulls up with all these women on it. They all got the same lawyer.
Busby.
I was about to say, is it the same
lawyer is in pictures with the owner of the team on his golf course. These are not accidents. This is not coincidental.
It's not.
But it doesn't, to Brian's point, but it doesn't change the fact that he did something that constituted him as freaky deaky.
Right.
If he wasn't doing that, they wouldn't have had anything to hang over his head.
Right.
But they knew they had something to hang over his head, and they just held on to it. As long as he played the game, they played the game. When he decided he wanted to go against the grain, they was like, oh, okay, bring in the clowns.
So what about you have instances, I'm going to say it, B, but you can give your perspective. What if you have instances where people don't do certain types of things and they, allegedly.
When?
Allegedly okay, so what did Prince do?
He told the industry that, he told everybody that the industry was robbing people. And then he tried to find a way to manipulate his way out of his publishing responsibilities by changing his name to a symbol.
That he did do.
He did that, and they were like, "Oh, that's what we doing? Say less."
Are we saying that Prince was murdered? Is that what we saying?
I don't know.
I don't know if we saying that.
I don't know. Allegedly. I don't know if we saying
allegedly,
So you saying
his
that-
life got real
in this
hard
clip-
after he did that.
In this clip, that's what they said. They said that in this clip. They literally said that's what happened. For him and Michael Jackson. Now, am I saying that? Allegedly, it could be.
Yeah,
I don't
Michael
know.
Jackson was like, I'm trying to buy my publishing from Sony. They don't want to sell it to me. These deals is nasty. I don't like it. I'm on up out of here. Next thing you know, they got him twerking on little boys. They like, Mike dropped it low for Macaulay Culkin.
Yeah, but who put an alarm on his door to alert people that somebody was coming? Like, my point is, like, he ain't do himself no favors by putting little boys in your bed.
No question.
Yeah,
And putting an alarm down the hallway so you can know somebody coming down the hallway.
Coming down the hall to
Bruh,
alert you.
those
Yeah, that's
32 or whatever it was, I think the number ended up getting up to them 32 women wasn't imaginary that Deshaun Watson let massage him. He put himself in a scenario that look a little weird.
I got a nuanced view on this, and I want to be long with it. But because my thing is this, I just don't like the whole racial crutch that we use as black people. Because with the Deshaun Watson thing, I'm 1,000% on board with him getting railroaded. He got totally railroaded. It was a clear setup. He said, I don't want to play in Houston no more. As soon as he said that, all of a sudden, okay, we got your ass. And boom.
Yeah.
But my thing is, even if there's some truth to the racial component to it, we got to stop leaning. We got to stop it. We got to stop blaming it on
the man.
Because we're black.
Blame the hand, not the stove.
What it is what it is he went against the
grain.
yeah,
he went against what
right.
Hey, we made you.
And knowing that you got this creepy fetish over here for getting massages and having women do stuff to you, knowing you got you got this on you, right? Ruin your whole reputation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
You thinking.
So we just got to stop. Like, I don't have no problem calling it is what it is. Like, he getting railroaded. But I have a problem with us saying because he's black and it's a conspiracy against us. I got a problem with that. That's my whole overall problem. Even if there's some truth to
I
it.
I was about to say that. What if there's truth to it?
We can overcome that. That's not. So what? Also, I don't want to get too deep though, but also I got strong moves about this too. You can't prove racism.
I can't prove nothing.
You can't get inside somebody. There's no test you can hook up to somebody and say, you can hook up to him and say, he did it because he's black. Even if we believe it's true, we can't prove it. So why are we harping on it? Give you context. I believe.
So wait, so are you saying racism is a concept?
It's
or a
it's
construct?
obviously real, but you can't prove it though in most cases. Unless you got him on camera saying we're gonna get this nigger out of here.
We're gonna get this nigger today.
Unless you got like a smoking gun, you can't prove it. You can't. So what I say is this: when it comes to the police brutality, the reason why we often lose in those battles with police brutality is because we take the argument to something we can't prove. Instead of focusing on the fact that they shot this unarmed human being, there should never be a scenario when somebody unarmed gets shot by somebody that's armed.
Period.
In law enforcement. Never, ever. Because law enforcement, you're supposed to be on a pedestal.
You're supposed to be there to serve and protect. That's what it says.
If you're supposed to be able to...
That's a whole nother can of worms.
It is. But my only point of saying that is that instead of us focusing on the fact that this police officer killed a citizen, we making it a racial thing, and we always lose because you can't prove it. You can't prove that they say I didn't do it because of race. You taking the argument somewhere it don't need to be. Just focus on the fact that this person was shot unlawfully, and we'll win. But instead, we make it a black versus white whole thing
because we don't know.
And we never win because you can't prove.
Yeah, I mean, we don't know if it was racially motivated or not.
You can't prove. Even the guy Derek Chauvin who put his knee on George Floyd's neck. We can believe he did it because he racist all we want to. We can't prove that part. We can't prove that there's no reason why he should put his knees on somebody's neck. But we took it and made it a whole other thing over here. And you empowered the racists to say, yeah, it ain't because of race. It's because he was on drugs or whatever the reason. Focus on, and as black people, we make it about race so much that we end up losing the war. And that's my soapbox. I could talk about it for hours, but I just want to put that out there.
For sure.
It's real.
Yeah.
I somewhat Agree. Yeah. I mean, I agree to a certain extent. I think racism can be proven. I think hate and racism are synonymous with each other. And I think that you can hook someone up to a machine and show them a picture of a black person and a picture of a white person, and you can literally see
that different reaction.
That their reaction to one versus the other is not the same. People can have a hatred. You could call it racism, but let's not make it that. People have a preconceived notion that sometimes determines how they treat people. Now, in the case of law enforcement, that's where I agree with you, but because a lot of what happens in law enforcement, to me, in my opinion, and based on what happens, is a product of the wrong people being given the power and the ability to make decisions that can sway how someone else's life goes. There needs to be more psychiatric evaluation.
I would agree with that.
Taking
that I would agree with
in law enforcement.
Yeah,
and that's why there was just a scenario where like 5 black officers got off for killing the guy.
Memphis.
And so again, you know, and this makes me a villain a lot of times in a lot of social platforms, but I just we try to, as us being elders, right? We try to teach people about independence in terms of music, and we try to teach people things that are the right things that they should do. And I believe as parents, you try to teach your kids a certain way, but I don't think there could be someone who does, but you don't teach your kid to run from the police in the vehicle and then hop out of when he gets out of the vehicle to then take the police on like a foot chase, or some of the things that you could do, to B's point, to antagonize how we got to the end result. There was an antagonistic action that led to what happened to that guy, and that should have never happened. But then you can't even play a race card because it was black guys who did it to a black guy. So then you got to look at the decision making of the officers and say, what the hell were they thinking? So sometimes it just becomes, did they give a badge and a gun to the right person?
Yeah, I've gone on record to say that I think police officers should have a 4-year degree and 2 or 3 years postgraduate training, just like a doctor does. Just like and I think they should be paid minimum 6 figures. I've said this.
You saying the 4-year degree should be in law enforcement, or just it can't
probably law enforcement?
You know what I'm saying? How you people just get a degree in anything and then
maybe, but I do believe there should need to be 2 or 3 years postgraduate degree as well.
It's like you go to
in law enforcement.
You go to pre-med, and then you go to actual medical school.
Yeah, well, that's what I'm thinking.
Right.
I like that idea. If you're saying you get out of high school and you say, I want to be in law enforcement, maybe you don't even know what part of law enforcement.
You got to go to law enforcement.
You go to like how people go and get, what is it, the generic degree of like political science, and then they, grow it from there. Where if you say, I want to do law enforcement, and you got to go to school for 4 years to learn both the aspects of the law itself, the human behavior, your own psychiatric. Like, I feel like now you can go and you're still only probably 24 years old when you're done with that. I like that. Like,
I like that too.
Because what they're doing right now is not working.
I think the salary should be 6-figure minimum, but the standards are going to be high. Like, just like with a doctor. If you're a doctor and you kill somebody by accident,
that's almost end of your career.
If it doesn't end your career, you lucky.
Same deal.
I agree with that.
And I've always said that.
You could have 24-year-old police officers, but in that 4-year degree or then the extra 2, they probably received at least 6 to 8 psychiatric evaluations.
Because
you can build a pattern off of that person and say, this person can work in the office, but this person cannot work in the field, because based on what I've seen, they would do X, Y, and Z in this kind of scenario.
But we do it for other types of jobs.
That's why I like that idea.
We do it for other types of jobs. Why not do it for a job of this caliber?
That's a huge responsibility.
With this great of an impact.
We're supposed to revere law enforcement, right? And put them on this pedestal. They're supposed to sacrifice so much. But when you shoot somebody because you're scared, that's not.
Yeah.
There's no reverence for that. There's no respect for that. But that's the reason why when an officer dies in the line of duty, we mourn them and hold them to such high regard.
Right, because they put their life on the line, right?
But if you get shoot because you're scared, that's
There's
true.
like I always think about this video when we talk about just who should be in a role. There's a video where there's a mentally ill young guy. Someone who knows him sees that he's being stopped by the police.
Mm-hmm.
The police makes them both get
I think I seen
on
this.
the ground.
And
the guy gets on the ground and the police officer shoots him in the ass.
Yep. I saw that. I saw that video.
And he's like, I'm down on the... They weren't even close to each other. This guy's laying face down on the pavement, hands behind his head, and the police officer shoots him.
Yeah, I saw that.
And he's like, I'm cooperating. Why did you shoot me? He was like, I didn't mean to. That man has no business
being a police officer.
And so then it goes to whatever academy he went through. They should be sued for malpractice.
He went to police academy
because they let somebody come through their academy who clearly had no business holding a firearm.
That job is so serious though. It needs more training.
It's so serious. We way off in the woods right now, fellas. But this is an important topic. For a lot of reasons.
We in the woods like, yo, where we at?
But to your point, that kind of statement you read, I get so frustrated. And I'm not saying that everybody got to agree with me, but I just don't like how as people, we always want to point the finger about.
Right.
But then these conspiracy theories, like I'm into stuff that I can prove. It's fun to like speculate, have fun. But seriously though, I
have that we can't prove because people put themselves in situations to cause a lot of those things to happen.
Be an antagonist and put yourself.
Don't be on people.
And maybe all races are like this, but we are, to me, so quick to make excuses. The human race. I love that.
The human race.
Meanwhile, all the black folks is quick to make excuses. Well, they didn't have to do him like that. Well, he also didn't have to break the law in order to put himself in a situation to have those things happen to him.
Like
then that's true. Again, if they were better equipped to even be in the role that they're in,
that's right.
They would have handled it differently.
That's right.
Clearly, they shouldn't even be in that role. But then you put yourself in, and like I said, there's a scenario of the dude who laid on the ground.
Right.
He came to help the officer
and got shot.
Now, that's not on the citizen. That's on, clearly, this guy don't have no business in that role.
That's right.
So I agree with you on all of that, except for I do believe that you can tell whether or not racism
in a controlled environment, you probably could.
But even
But
even if that's true, though, that should be a part of your training.
That's a fact.
That should.
That's why I love the other part of what you said.
That's right.
Flush that out.
That's why
early.
I love that.
That's early.
Right.
Before you even get to the academy, we're going to find this out.
That's right. We're going to find this out now.
Early on.
And it should be hooked to a machine because
That's
if it's just showing some G.I. Joe 2 pictures, G.I. Joe know what he need to say in order for him to get issued a gun. I love all people.
But you got to do it like how they did Will Smith.
You got to hook him to a machine.
How they did Will Smith in Men in Black. It was like, why'd you shoot the girl? It was like, what kind of little girl, white girl, is going to be in this neighborhood at this time
of day?
Well, carrying a book, an astrophysics, neuropsychological book. She's the one. It's like, it's her. But man, y'all, hey, thanks for going into the woods with us today.
Yeah, welcome back.
Welcome back. But no, I just thought it was interesting that statement that he made. I was like, I'm gonna ask.
I think there's validity to it, but you can't prove what you can't prove.
That's right. But man, as I always say every week, man, I appreciate you, Bo, for driving all the way down here to the boonies, dealing with all that traffic, because Atlanta be having. That's the one thing about Atlanta that I don't like. It's traffic.
Crazy.
Yeah.
It's traffic.
It don't really even matter where you go.
Figure it out, Atlanta.
Yeah.
Figure it out.
Okay. There's a lot of construction going on.
Whether you got to put some tariffs.
It's a lot of infrastructure construction going
on the traffic. We got to pay some extra tolls for the semis. Something. Do something. But anyway, man, B, appreciate you, brother. Ty, appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
And you know, this show actually wouldn't even go well if it wasn't for my man sitting up, which y'all can't see.
Behind the boards.
Behind the boards, pushing the buttons.
Man behind the glass.
Making sure all the audio is the way it's supposed to be and the camera switching happens. So man, it's a shout out to you, man. We salute you. Thank you. But once again, ladies and gentlemen, we out. Indie Unplugged.
Peace.
Peace.